Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to Artifact Artist Spotlight Spaces. I'm Fairy Liquid. I'm joined by the man who really doesn't require any introductions. You will know him, you will love him, Mr. Johnny Kicks. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm amazing. No, another blessed day. Super excited for this one. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. And I just realized it's Johnny's Kicks, not just Johnny Kicks. This whole time. My God. We also have young Cassius, Fisty, Cupsy Cass. Hello, my brother. What's good?
Appreciate that rap intro. We're not dropping any bars. We're leaving that for Rupsy today. So I'm hyped.
How did you know he's quite the musical lad? But ever since my meeting with Rupsy, now every time I see his name, I start singing Island Boy. But of course, I'm going to allow him to explain the story himself and where all of that comes from. But before that, we need to say hello. Rupsy Banks, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you on here.
My people, how are we doing today? Thank you so much for having me. Thank you all for stopping in to listen to me babble about, my life and shoes and fashion and 3D and artifact. Man, I'm doing great. Had a good 4th of July with the family. Everybody stayed safe. So couldn't be happier. I'm blessed, man.
Glad to hear you stayed safe, because as a Brit, all you hear on 4th of July is the crazy stories, the things that you guys get up to, and it's bloody wild, I tell you. Rupsy, we know you for the incredible custom sneakers that you make. That's your thing. But you also have a lot more about you. I don't even know where to start. Can we take it back to the island days before you go into sneakers?
Yeah, so I work a 9 to 5. I wear many hats, you know what I mean? So I work a 9 to 5. I'm an electrician by trade. My dad was an electrician. I was an electrician. I wasn't a big fan of school. So you make your bed, you got to lay in it. And so I came to a crossroads, and my dad said, "Look, man, if you want to do construction, you can either carry a shovel or you can learn electricity." And so here I am. But what happened was, in my 20s, life is just, it's all fun and games until it gets real. And so it got real, and I had to make another choice. I was given an opportunity to go overseas and kind of get my life together and figure some stuff out and be, get some security and stability under me. And so I made a choice to go overseas and take a job. The job was on a military base in the middle of the South Pacific, basically in between Hawaii and Guam, on a small chain of islands called the Marshall Islands. They're tiny, and the island that I lived on, we had maybe 60 residents that lived there. There's no vehicles, so you ride your bike everywhere. It might take you, 45. It's under an hour to walk the whole perimeter of the island. It's not big. It's very, very, very small. So what happens is, you you can either pick up bad habits or you can pick up some good habits. And I chose to pick up some good ones. I decided that I was going to get in shape and get healthy. And so I went to the gym that they had there and then started that journey. And then about, after a couple of years being there and getting a couple dollars in my pocket and having a little bit of security, I decided that I wanted to step up my sneaker game a bit. I've always been a fan of sneakers and the culture. And so I go online and I'm shopping and I say, oh man, these Bape Adidas are beautiful. I really like to get a pair of those. And so I went and I searched them and found them, and man, they were like $1,500, bro. There was no way, there was no possible way I was going to spend $1,500 on a pair of shoes, right? Look at me now with these damn artifact shoes. I spent money. But so I decided, I said, man, let me look elsewhere. And I looked on like Etsy and shit, and I saw people making their own. I said, well, damn, these people making their own, but they don't look that great. I said, I think I might be able to do that. And so I got a pair of shoes and started painting them, and one thing led to another, and started, selling them from the island. It would take like 2 weeks for me to ship you a pair. Shipping took forever. I had to go through all the customs and the this and the that, and so it just didn't make sense to try and have a sneaker custom business when it takes 2 weeks for me to get anything, and then 2 weeks for me to send anything out. It's just the time was not. It wasn't working. But I picked it up overseas. I was stuck in a small little 1-bedroom apartment. Just always been creative, always needed some way to, let it out, have some kind of outlet. And I just navigated towards that. And then once I got back to the States, I took it a bit more serious, started investing in it, and, kind of snowballed. And that's how I met Johnny. And here we are today. So, yeah.
Rupsy, where did your passion for customs come from? Like, what was one of the first things you remember customizing?
So it's funny. I think I was speaking to my mom a couple years ago, and I was telling her how, now that I'm older, I can tell her about all the nefarious things I did when I was younger and feel like I'm not going to get in trouble for it now, right? Because we're adults, right? So I told her, I was like, yeah, and I wasn't raised by my mom. I was raised by my dad. So she wasn't around for until I was 30, pretty much. And so I tell her, I was like, yeah, I wasn't good in school. So I remember I would, back in the day, I don't know how they do it now, but you get a paper report card and they would mail it to your house. And so I would always beat my dad to the house. I'd get out of school before he got off work, and I'd snatch that report card. And I'd either like change the D to an A or the B or whatever it might be. I'd change one of them damn letters, and I'd run over to the grocery store where they had Xerox machines, photocopy machines, and I'd Xerox it out to where it looks like a brand new crisp freaking report card, and I stuff it back in the envelope, whatever, stuff it back in the mailbox, and baby, I was clean. You know what I mean? So that was my first custom, man. I started customizing my report cards when I was a kid because I didn't want to get grounded and get in trouble, and I also didn't want to do my schoolwork. And then, like, I remember GI Joes, the little GI Joes, the small ones in the 90s, right? They had a little screw in the back of them, and if you had a screwdriver, you could take that screw out, and it was just a bunch of rubber bands holding the arms and shit together, and you could swap out the arms and the legs and the heads. And so I'd make my own little cyborg GI Joes and shit, man, like all kinds of stuff, micro machines and just whatever I could get my hands on. And that went even further to like video games. I always loved getting an avatar and being able to throw a tattoo on him or change his clothing or just kind of make it like when you could make your own little avatar look the way you wanted to. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And then, I mean, we're here now, you know what I mean? So yeah, it started with just not wanting to be grounded and get in trouble. And so I figured out how to manipulate a report card, and now I'm painting shoes. So
What a crazy transition! Like it's nuts when I can picture everything that you were doing when you were a kid, and it's just absolutely hilarious. And you started with your clone. I thought you were a clone holder this whole time, anyway. But the clone that you had, you customized it and you put tattoos on it. That I knew that wasn't part of the traits in the CloneX, but now you have your own clone, and congratulations on that. That's really, really big. What made you choose this clone, by the way?
I mean, when I saw, well, thank you very much, first of all. I appreciate the love. And I always felt like a clone, to be honest, because this community is so welcoming. And I honestly, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have bought this. I wouldn't be in the spaces right now if the community wasn't as welcoming as they are. But no, if you look at this clone, I just feel like it just screams creator. Like, I'm not a big pink kind of guy. I would never wear that vest, and I definitely wouldn't have green hair or a rainbow grill. But when you look at this, everything put together with the billionaire shades, it to me, it just screams creator. Look, I'm a demon at heart. I got demon energy, and I carry that with me all the time. But when I saw this guy and at the prices, and I know we don't want to talk about that, but it for somebody like me, it was just it was a no brainer, and I had to get it, and I had to capitalize when I could. If I had waited for this drop that I just did, this thing would have been gone. There's no way it would have been there today, at the price that it was at. No possible way. And without Tevi's help, man, bless that man. He is a saint. I owe him. Um, he's getting a free pair of customs from me, so we're gonna work out something because without him, this I wouldn't have my number yet, and I feel really really good to have my number. There's something about having that number that just it does something. I've always felt welcome, and I've always felt excited to create for the community, with the community, but something about having that little number and making it official just feels really, really, really good. So I couldn't be happier.
Kind of glad that you didn't get that demon, because the way you started talking about having demon energy, I feel like shit would have it would have gone sideways. we wouldn't be able to handle you.
No, it's positive demon. Like, it's positive demon. I try to walk that line, toe the line a little bit, but yeah, I might slap somebody that get out of line every once in a while. It's okay.
Like me, Cass. See, I'm a positive demon. Well, right now I've got no skin and a quiff and robotic arms, but we're we're dealing what we've got. Johnny, you have known this man for a very, very, very long time. Do you guys remember what the first thing was that you guys worked on? I think I know. It's like a Freddy Krueger thing, right?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, man, he was like one of the first artists that I ever actually reached out to, and we ended up working together when I started my career back at the beginning of COVID, when it was taking concepts to reality. And I think the Freddy Krueger was like my 5th shoe or 6th shoe I ever dropped, and we were doing it for Friday the 13th drop. And to both of our surprises, we sold 13 pairs, and we sold it out in I think a day. And 2 of those orders happened to be with Kevin Hart, which was a huge surprise because he was actually the first pair that Kevin ended up ordering from me. He ended up following me from it, reaching out. And when I ended up reaching out to Rupsy and to do it, he was probably as blown as I was. And but the attention to detail that he did on the shoes was incredible.
Bro,
And
let me
speed
tell
at
you
which he
something
did
real
it.
quick about that. Because it was for Kevin
Yeah.
Hart, I got so freaking nervous, and this was my first like big order, right? And it was with Johnny, and Johnny had this massive following, still does, on Instagram. It's huge, over 100K. Now he's probably like close to 180K. It's something gnarly. And so I knew that this was such a big deal, and these shoes were expensive. They're like $1,500 a piece, right? And the base shoes alone were like $500 just to get the shoe. And so I screwed up Kevin Hart's first 2 pair. I screwed him up. I ruined him, completely ruined him. And so I didn't even say nothing to Johnny, but I'm sitting in my room like painting these things, and I realized that I screwed this up, and I just like my heart sank, and I was like, dude, what am I can't send Kevin Hart messed up shoes. So I went back online. I found some more base shoes, and old Chris, $1,000 out of his pocket. Here you go. So I had to order 2 more base shoes and start fresh. But oh my goodness, man, that was crazy. Sorry, John.
No, I mean these are the parts of the journey, right? I mean, this is and it just shows his character, right? The fact that he took accountability. He didn't feel the need to mention. He just corrected. He was very militant in the way he worked. He was very open in communication with me along the whole road. I mean, it was just. He's one of the smoothest makers I've ever worked with, and because of that, he's like the only painter I now work with. He's that guy that now through the years, we worked on hundreds of shoes, a bunch of contracts. It's just been a whirlwind as far as like what we've been able to do together, and just knowing that it's in different mediums. Like, this dude is a creator, like through and through, as far as his art, like on shoes or individual clothing pieces, to furniture pieces, to 3D design. This man was the reason why I got into 3D design. Artifact was the push, but he was the reason. right? He was the catalyst. He was the one who taught me, right? He was the one sitting there for hours and hours and hours and hours with me FaceTiming, answering every possible question, when he was the one going through the YouTube videos and actually trial and tribulating, basically doing all the mistakes, right? He was saving me hundreds of hours, which he had basically done over the 3-4 months previous. But he got so good so fast, and his creative vision, taking my clone and putting I think some of the first original apparel pieces on him, from the Louis Vuitton bucket hat to the varsity jackets and all this other stuff. He showed me the possibilities really fast, and he was, now I'm proficient in 3D. Thanks, bro.
Oh, bro, I mean, look, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you nonstop talking about Artifact and what they got going on. Like, you wouldn't shut up about it. And so we were always talking, and I had to hear about it. And so eventually I was going to get interested. And then you showed me Crypto Dunks, and I was like, bro, this dude, he just sold me. Like, that was all I needed to see. And then here we are. So, no, man, without you, bro, this wouldn't be happening. So.
So wait, Rupsy, let me ask, do you think you would have ended up in this NFT Web3 space if you guys hadn't been talking about Artifact or connecting over this stuff?
I highly doubt it. I mean, I don't know if I say probably not. Probably not. Yeah. It's just because it didn't really interest me. You know what I mean? I didn't really see the possibilities, I guess. Like, I didn't know that you could do this. Like, I didn't know. I mean, obviously I knew somebody had to make this stuff, right? Somebody had to make these digital clothing pieces and all that, but I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't know that there was a community out there that provided, assets and ways to do this stuff. And so once I kind of sat down and just listened to Johnny, I mean, really just listened to him, because the man speaks well. He knows what he's talking about, and he has a way of giving you the information so it's digestible. And I got excited, man. And then, it was the consistency from Artifact. It was the quality from Artifact. I will be honest. I mean, when I first saw NFT, obviously you look at Bored Ape, you look at a ape JPEG, and you're like, man, where's the hype? Like, what's the big deal? And the thing that kind of caught my eye was the Hape social club. Like, they're 3D gorillas and stuff. I was like, man, that's cool looking. And then Johnny showed me Artifact. I said, oh shit, this is different. Like, this is a whole thing. And then Nike, oh, all right, well, I'm sold. So yeah, I don't know if I'd be in the space. Maybe with Dot Swoosh, I probably would have joined eventually, because I am just a big Nike guy. But yeah, I don't know if I would be this deep in it at all. Like, I'd still probably just have a sneaker in my hand and trying to figure out my next custom.
Now I got this man deep in the back ends of the metaverse, slanging out wearables. Got the grill. No concerns anymore. Wouldn't do the pink hair or green in real life. But no, I think this is super awesome to hear. I think it's actually super funny that both of y'all kind of have came up together in both these skill sets. But Rupsy, what do you think the goal is for you now that you've found your spot here and you're kind of getting deeper into the clone community?
I don't know if there is a real goal, to be honest. I'm not sure there's an end game, I mean, I just want to create stuff that's cool as shit and that people think is cool as shit, and want to get behind, and I mean, obviously I think we're all part of this community, and any creator that is a part of the Artifact ecosystem, I think, would love nothing more than to do something with Artifact, whether it's just a collab or whatever. I think that would be great, but that's not the end goal. I'm not sure there is an end goal. I'm just kind of going along with it and letting myself evolve on my time. Just kind of going towards whatever I feel attracted to at the time. Look, my taste can change. I went from music to sneakers to 3D to, this to that. I'm like a little butterfly, man. I might be here one year, and then 2 years from now I'm locked onto something else. I don't know, but right now I love this, and I love creating wearables. I think there's something really, really cool about that. I can express like kind of me through that a bit. And I just love fashion. So yeah, it's nothing. I don't want to build like some big storyline and some all this craziness. I just want to keep creating stuff and hope people respond to it and just evolve with the community, really.
You know what I love about creators? They're rare. These ones, they're the ones that are genuine. They are, the authenticity. You can see that through how they behave and how they move through the space. You're very, very humble, but you're very talented, and your work talks for itself. Like, you're not screaming it down people's ears. It's just there, and we can see how great it is. And you said something that I really, really liked was you like to take something good and something that's cool and you like to make it cooler. And you've kind of done this with your latest collection as well. You've taken the DNAs from CloneX and you've done your own versions of them. And I would really, really love to go through each one and break down what your ideas were behind each of them. So let's start with a human.
Yeah. So I think the overall kind of idea behind the collection was I wanted to make something that blended really well with the footwear. Being I'm a sneaker guy, so I grew up to wear like your shirt better match your kicks, or you might get made fun of. You know what I mean? Like there's like you got to match. We got to coordinate. So there's that. So I wanted to make sure the color palette for each shirt blended well with the sneaker. First of all, secondly, I wanted there to be an overall like cohesive feel throughout each design. So some of the placements of the design, like some of the placements of the lettering and some of the artwork is pretty much the same throughout each design, so it's one collection. But the human, it was obviously you have the Da Vinci. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's the Da Vinci human dude guy. That's like the very like when you see it, that's human, right? Like this is based off of the human anatomy, and I really like the way it looks. So I just wanted to show obviously the human, to showcase we are human. Um, so that's why there's the big kind of translucent human on the front where you can kind of see the inside of it as well. And then just blast it with human text across the shoulders because I'm a huge fan of like cool text and like script and stuff like that. I really, really love that stuff. So yeah, it's not too in depth. There are like a lot of like a couple hidden little, there's some braille on the bottom that represents something that I've been saying for years and years and years, and that's love, inspire, create, repeat. So that's kind of the motto that I've lived off of for myself. Like I created that for myself. Something I remind myself every day is just to love, inspire, create, and repeat it. And just do that over and over and over again. You can't go wrong. And then there's some like little alien text that goes along the side that basically just says your future needs you. Because I fully believe that too. Your future is dependent on what you're doing right now, and you can't lose sight of that. So again, it's cohesive along all 7 designs, but as far as the human, it's just to showcase the human. There's the definition of what a human is at the very top, and it's very simple, but it also, to me, we're extremely complex. We're the biggest, most advanced computer there is that we know of, unless we're all in a simulation, and that's different. But yeah, like just showcase the beauty of the human because it all started with us and it's going to end with us. So that was the human. Nothing too crazy.
Wait, so the braille at the bottom actually is braille, and it has a message.
Yes, and it's actually on the Mint website too, right under my name on the website. I use that quote a lot. It's just something that I just love it. It's just simple, and yeah. So that actually does say something in the weird like little alien writing that goes vertically on all the shirts. It's in like that little bar and it's vertical. That also says something. It's your future needs you. So everything on there, every little thing on there means something. It's not just there to make it look good.
See, this is another thing what I've always respected about his work and the way he approaches design and products and just everything that he actually touches is everything is thought out and everything has a purpose. He doesn't add it unless if it doesn't need to be there, right? It's like every aspect of these shirts, everything, when you look at it from like zooming all the way in, everything has a purpose. And again, when you talk about great designers, I mean, they think about the process, they think about the story, they think about the product, they think about the overall cohesiveness of it, right? And so being able to do that on every single product, as if it's just a digital shirt or a shoe or the packaging or whatever it is, it's like the attention that he brings to every single thing that he touches is, again, top notch.
Yeah, I gotta ask now, why Braille? That's I've never heard anybody use that for clothing, and I think that's a really dope concept.
So if I'm being completely honest, Nike, I believe they were on a pair of Kobe's years ago. Like he did this braille on like the outsole, I believe, on a pair of Kobe's. Something, if I remember correctly.
I think they were the nines.
Right. Yeah. And I just thought, dude, how dope is that? And then also like Nike had they sponsored the athlete, the blind, I believe he's like a track runner or something like, and they used Braille technology. And I've always been kind of like, every time when I was a kid, I'd go to the ATM and I'd see the little Braille that's on the ATM. I'd always touch it. And I never really knew what it meant. And my dad would have to explain to me, oh, this is for people that can't see. And that's just kind of how they write and communicate. And it's just always kind of been fascinating to me that you can do that like through touch. You know what I mean? Like you can see through feeling. So I don't know, and I've never seen it really incorporated on clothing because it is something that you have to feel and touch. It's not this one-dimensional thing, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to add it on there, just as something cool. It's something that I've always kind of just remembered in the back of my mind as a little kid, and it's just another way to communicate and to express.
Johnny, and you've got loads of impressive members of the community in the campaign for your collection. I can see Dre, Compound, Baron, Meta, Gemma, Jack, Johnny's there. It's just so cool to see everybody so dressed up, and they're ready. They're ready to attack. Yeah, go on.
No, they were so gracious enough to trust me with their files. I know that I kind of had relationships with most of these. Some of these people I really never spoke to. That I was not afraid to jump in your DM and ask if I could use your clone. So for them to trust me with those files, I really, really appreciate the faith that they put in me to be able to use that. So thank you.
And I can see that they are in the space right now, and I can't believe we've already reached the halfway mark. This is so sad. Guys, please come up. Let's have a conversation. Ask Johnny some really, really hard questions. Make him stutter up on stage. Johnny, you told me that when you created this collection, you weren't really expecting to have such a journey with it. Is there anything that you would do differently? Anything that you've learned? Would you repeat it again? Can we expect another collection?
I'm going to correct you. I think you were talking about Rupsy. I think you said Johnny. So I'm going to pass that over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was a little confused, but I think I understood what you were saying. I was a bit confused, but I got it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd like to. These are just shirts, right? So if you look at the renders, everybody's wearing shorts and socks, and so why not just kind of provide that at some point too, and not for sale, but just to add it to a link that people can just download if they have the shirts. So I think I'll add to this collection by providing the shorts and the socks as well. And then moving forward, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's to stop me? I mean, look, there's an Animus project coming up, and there's some really cool stuff in there that I can make some really amazing designs, based on maybe some of the animi, if that's what they are called. But yeah, there's endless possibilities. There's traits that I can base stuff off of. I have some pretty cool billionaire shades on that not every clone has. So maybe, I do a billionaire design that only the billionaire shade clones can get, or just all kinds of stuff. It's endless. The possibilities are literally endless. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to add on. One thing I would like to do is for the Murakami holders. I know I can't obviously do much because the IP is untouchable. But what I can do is make something based on the Murakami trait and provide that for free to the community. So I'll most likely just go ahead and design a cool Murakami based design for the t-shirts and just give out a free link so people can have that and rock it and, yeah, enjoy the Murakami trait as well.
What a generous, generous man. Whilst you were talking, I was thinking, damn, how can I make up for this this mishap that I just had? And I was like, maybe I can call Johnny Rupsy and say, hey, Rupsy, what's it like working with Johnny? But then it just doesn't make sense at all. So I'm going to pass it to somebody who actually knows how to speak. Yobs, hi.
I don't know how to speak. Man, I had to come up here and throw some love, man. Shit. I don't even know where to start, but like obviously I'm a huge fan, massively inspirational Rupsy, man. Like I grew up as well, like painting sneakers, customizing clothes and all of that. And it wasn't until like quite recently, to be fair, where I like saw some of like your like actual painted sneakers, and I'm blown away. Like I considered like myself to be like pretty good. I was like, oh, I'm a pretty good like customizer. I can paint on leather and stuff. But when I saw the is Jason, right? The Jason mask on the sneaker, god damn, like the way it looks printed, it looks like a movie poster, but it's obviously painted. But to get that sort of like detail, that sort of like intricacy on a sneaker, I don't know if anyone's painted sneakers before, but it's an absolute joke and a nightmare trying to like make things line up when there's like so many different layers of leather going up and down and stuff. But for you to pull something off like that, it's just you're an absolute artist. I don't know how long you've been painting for. How did you learn? This is maybe what I want to ask. Like, how did you learn to do that, or like, what is your painting process? How do you go about doing something of like that level or that caliber, and like, how long does it take?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for the kind words, man. I really, really appreciate that. One of the very first things that I saw when I joined this community was the bag that you did for Zap, and I got a hold of Johnny. I said, "Who the hell painted that bag?" I said, "That is crazy, bro. That shit is fire. Like, who painted that?" He's like, "Oh, this guy Yobs did." I said, "What the hell is a Yobs? What is that?" And then so I looked up Yobs, and I was like, "Oh shit, this dude's like doing shit, like clone. He got all kinds of shit, Clone Force, and he's painting. Man, it was wild. So thank you very much. That means a lot coming from you." I started painting 2016ish, maybe late 2016. So we'll call it 6.5 years. It's been, I work a full-time job, and I just had a kid about 1.5 years ago, and I've been dabbling in 3D. So I don't spend all my time painting shoes, but the time that I do have, I really, really try to concentrate. But I learned, look, YouTube was a huge help. I got in to shoes kind of when custom sneakers was first starting to kind of bubble a little bit, and there wasn't a huge YouTube presence. But one guy that was kind of doing things at the time was DeJesus Customs, and he's probably the biggest YouTube customizer out there right now. He's huge. Over the years we've been able to create a really good relationship. I've flown out, stayed at his house. He's a good friend of mine now. But he taught me a lot. It is a process. There are certain things that you have to know and you have to do in order to make a quality custom. You can't just throw paint on a shoe and expect it to work. It doesn't work that way. And yes, with shoes like this Jason one, the panels, there's so many panels on a Jordan 1. And to get the right perspective and to get these lines to add up and everything to look right, it is a process. But it's a learned process, and anybody can do it. It's just a matter of spending the time to do it, getting the right tools to do it. There's airbrushing involved. There's stencils involved. There's a lot of technique involved on what colors to lay down first. So a lot of trial and error. A lot, when I'll be honest, when I first saw this, when Johnny designed these, I said, yeah, oh, I could definitely do that. And in the back of my mind, I was like, shit, like that, man, like this is gonna suck. Like this is gonna be tough. But it was ugly as hell until the last like 95% was done. And I was like, damn, these are actually fire. So you just got to trust the process, because you're gonna question every step, and it's gonna look like crap until you get the highlights on there, and it really all starts to come together. And then before you know it, you got something like that you're proud of, that you can share with the world. And it's learned though. It's nothing special. Anybody can do this shit.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the kind words back. But secondly, I want to what you said about like anyone can do this shit. I resonate with that so heavily, and it's something like I preach. Like when it comes to like art and things like this, or anything that requires what people like you would call a skill, for example, it's like it's learned, right? It's not something you're ever born with. You may be born with like a proficiency to learn, but I don't think you're born with any kind of talent per se. It's just like what you're willing to put the time into. So I love that you said that, man, and keep rocking, keep smashing it. Like the designs and everything for the t-shirts look absolutely crazy. Keep it up, man. Absolutely love what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much. And no, and look, I don't know, like I didn't go to school for art. I never really like took art classes in high school. I don't know color theory. I don't know, I don't know any of that crap. I'm not like I have these little charts that tell me how to make certain colors. Here's what you add to this color to make that color. I don't know this shit off the top of my head. This is all learned, and there's tools that can help you get this shit done. So again, literally anybody can do this shit.
I also love it that you don't make it easy on yourself either, because let's be realistic. When I showed you the client and what he wanted, man, it was dog shit, right? It was like the easiest thing you could have ever done, and this guy just went above and beyond. And like, again, I don't know if you have all the details on there, but from the hang tags to the insoles to the packaging to the shoes, it's not just like the shoes, right? It's the attention to the entire packaging, the story. And yeah, I mean, he spent a lot of time on this shoe. I mean, obviously the work speaks for itself, but I mean, again, it just goes back to the character and how much attention to detail. And if he's going to put his name on it, it's going to get knocked out of the park.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. With the initial design that he wanted was very, very plain and very, very easy and simple to do, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I know from, experience that, look, if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a product, I really want it to be something special. And so I want the design to be incredible. And not only that, I want the packaging to be incredible. This is why it's something I love about Artifact. I'm going to give you custom sneaker bag. You're going to get hang tags. You're going to get insoles. You're going to get all these cool little doodads that you're like, oh, wow, look at these little details that, I noticed as a consumer, but a lot of people as a manufacturer, they don't spend the extra time or maybe a couple extra dollars on my end, because I got to go out and buy some leather laces to put in the shoe because they just make a more luxurious feel on a sneaker than, fabric laces. So I spend a couple extra bucks to do that. That's fine. I'd rather the client have a better overall experience and want to come back and experience that again. So that's why I do it. I mean, and like Johnny said, I'm not going to put my name on it if it's not up to my standards. And I personally feel like I have some pretty high standards. So I hold myself to a high standard.
Rupsy, Oh my gosh. I've been just deep diving into your Instagram and I just found this picture that's pinned to the top. Can you please explain what is going on?
I'm not sure I see it yet. All I see are my shoes. Oh, here we go. Oh, Dexter. So yes, this was a great experience. This is probably like the highlight so far for me. So my wife and I are massive Dexter fans. We love the show. We just binge watched it. And it's not for everybody. It's kind of weird, but for us, it's great, right? And so when I heard that they were going to come back for a final season, I said, dude, I got to make a shoe based on Dexter. A, because I love Dexter, and B, because nobody's ever made like a Dexter shoe before, so let's do it. So I got a pair of Air Force Ones, and I didn't go into this like thinking that, oh, I know a guy that I can get these shoes to Michael C. Hall. You know what I mean? I had no clue that he was ever going to get these shoes. So I had the concept of taking the Air Force One and cutting off some of the panels and making them see-through, like the cellophane plastic he uses to wrap his quote-unquote victims to the table, right? And also, Nike did Air Force Ones with some see-through paneling before, and I always thought that was a cool idea. So I found somebody that could do it for me. So I sent him the shoe. He sewed in all these see-through panels. The other idea was, well, I want to make a swoosh, a see-through swoosh with liquid blood inside of it to represent his blood slides that he takes as a little trophy from each of his kills. And I didn't know if I could do it or not, but I got some plastic, and I got some heat and iron, and I figured it out, and I cut some swooshes, and I squirted in some baby oil and some food coloring, and before I knew it, I had these swooshes that were filled with liquid blood, like fake blood, and you could squish them around, and it would move around inside of it. And I asked him, I said, dude, do you think you could sew these on the shoe? And he said, man, I could try. And sure as shit, he got them on there. And so I added see-through laces to the shoe, which was yeah, there it is right there. I added see-through laces to the shoe, which was basically like the strap for swimming goggles, you know, and I just crimped on some metal aglets at the end of it, some tips for the laces. There's blood slide hang tags for the shoes. There's leather insoles that represent his black leather gloves with the bloody footprint on it. I mean, every little detail. I got a copy of his ID that he uses at work from eBay. You know, there's all these little details and stuff that I added. And when I posted it, there's a video that pretty much went viral. It's got, you know, almost 1 million views on my reels on Instagram, and it's just of me playing with the swoosh and the blood kind of moving around in there. And somehow one of the writers for the show saw that video, and he reached out and he said, man, how can I get a pair of these shoes? And I said, you can't. I said, you can't get a pair of these shoes. I said, this is only the only pair I made, and I'm not going to make another pair because they're difficult, and I can't even believe I pulled this off. And I said, if you know Michael C. Hall, if you got his contact information, I'd love to send these out to him. I'm not sure what size he is, but they're his if you can get a hold of him. And so he said, well, fine, let me see what I can do. And about 10 minutes later, I had this old, like, it was an email from like Outlook, or so. It was like a Yahoo email account or some shit. Because Michael C. Hall doesn't have social media. He's not on social media. You can't like find him. And so he had this old like Yahoo account, and I was like, dude, this is bullshit. But I sent the email anyway. And next day I had a response from him, and he said, yeah, I'd love him. And he sent me an address and all the shit. And so I vetted it. I searched the address. I made sure that, you know, everything's legit. And I said, man, I'll send you these shoes. The only thing I ask is just for a couple photos. And so I sent them out, and literally like 2 months later, because I guess he was on tour in Europe, I get an email back from him with, you know, 3 or 4 photos. And I couldn't believe it. Like it was incredible. Like I had no idea how I was going to get these to him. No, you know. What am I going to do? I had made these shoes, and now they're just sitting here. But man, it was, yeah, that was the highlight so far. So I love those shoes.
Rupsy, they're so sick. I am a huge Dexter fan. Disappointed with the ending, but we won't talk about that. I love the little photo shoot that you've had with it as well, with the knives and mallet gloves.
Dude,
and you've got it
that
like
photo shoot I set up in my garage. and I had like I'm like taping up all this plastic and all this shit, and there's like spooky lights, and I got like smoke in there and shit. And my wife walks out, and there's all these knives on this table. It's covered in plastic, and she walks out. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "Babe, you have no idea how easy it is to set up a murder room. Like this took me 25 minutes. It's scary fast. Like it's not hard at all. I can see how he gets away with shit." But she was a little spooked out.
She said, "This is not the season finale we asked for, babe."
But yeah, I think the
God,
photo
that's
shoot
great.
played into a big reason why it was a success. I mean, again, I go above and beyond. I'm not just going to make an amazing shoe and take shit photos of it. I would never do that. If you're going to make something incredible, if you're going to spend all this time and effort and energy into making something that you feel is incredible and is share worthy, do the best possible, do the most justice you can for that, and give it to the world in the best possible way, right? That's why I'm so passionate about just all of it. It's all, to me, it's all an art form. Even setting up this photo shoot was art to me.
Man, I rate you so much. There's so much care and attention to detail to absolutely everything you do. It's nuts. I know we had Compound up here first, but Tevi's got his hand up, and Tevi is like, he Compound gave me the thumbs up. Okay, let's go. Hi, Tevi.
Hey, thanks, Compound. I appreciate you letting me cut to the front of the line here. But you guys know this is a time of the day when I'm running around the building, and it's really hard to jump on these spaces and try to speak up of whatnot. But man, I had to come up here and give Rupsy his flowers all the way through. And I'm not gonna front. I had no idea as far as like his Instagram and all that stuff that he's been doing, and so today has been like a really cool way for me to dive even deeper into who Rupsy is, what he does, and how he does it. So for me, it's been more like the connecting with him on Bad Take and hearing him talk, the passion that he's been showing, and just overall the vibes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's what really, sold me on him. And I've seen I saw the Freddy shoes. I thought those were kind of cool, but it's really been just the vibe and the energy he brings, and just how much he's been doing for the community, and how he's been doing it so like with a ton of humility, and just not asking anything in return, right? So very, very giving, and that speaks just massively to me. So yeah, when the opportunity came along to be able to do something for him, it was a no-brainer for me. So like I said, this is, I love to see people win. I think it energizes all of us. And so I just have to come up here and say, thank you for being part of the community, doing what you do, how you do it, and more importantly, being as giving and humble as you are. I mean, you are beyond talented, and it's even more obvious now that I'm again scrolling through your Instagram and looking at all this stuff. So man, like I feel privileged to even be talking to you. And yeah, so anyways, just had to come up here quick, say massive shout out to you. Love what you do, keep doing you, and can't wait to see what you do next with your art and within the community.
Thank you, Tevi. I mean, you're a massive reason why I'm here. Obviously, the Bad Take crew, you guys, it's nothing but a vibe in there, man. I love it. I'm there every night. I don't miss it. Reminders always set. I'm not sure I'd still be sticking around if it wasn't for you guys, man. Times were getting a little rocky there, so to have you guys in there, to have the support and the vibe and just the positivity, and I try to walk with humility and grace as much as I can, only because I want to reciprocate what I'm getting from you guys, so if that's what I'm receiving, then that's what I'm going to give. I'm a firm believer in that, man. And we're going to get your feet laced up in some crazy customs here pretty soon. So don't you worry your little heart about that. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. You have no idea, bro. Thank you so much.
Man, that's the icing on the cake. Like I said, man, to me it was more about just being able to crystallize that for you. So to hear that, you're gonna hook me up with one of these is, man, that's a blessing. So again, had no expectations, didn't even know that that was a thing. So, man, this means a ton to me. So thank you again. And that's yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna switch back to listening. But I had to come up here and give you flowers and again say thank you for everything that you do.
Teddy, ask for the hardest thing possible. Shout out. Seriously, shout out Bad Take Crew, man. It's getting impossible to have a spaces or just have a normal conversation without somebody mentioning Bad Take. Like, they are everywhere and they are vibes and they're freaking, I love you guys. Well done. Compound, welcome up on stage.
What is good, guys? I got to tell you how I met Rupsy. So I myself was trying to set up a murder room, and I knew Rupsy was skilled at setting up murder rooms. So I hit him up, for some tips, just trying to figure out how to run it down, and that's how we met. Honestly, just trying to set up a murder room. So the guy's skilled at everything. He can create shoes, create 3D renders.
It's all about having the right tape, bro. You just got to get the right tape.
Yeah, he said it was all in the tape, in the plastic. Like, don't skimp on the plastic. You got to get the thick stuff from Home Depot. And I said, bet, Rupsy, let's rock. But no, man, Rupsy was always this like mysterious kind of creator, just making dope shit, and we had never chatted. But he was always like, oh shit, that's Rupsy Banks. Look what he just dropped. You know what I'm talking about? And one day I just get a DM like out of the blue. Our first thing was like, hey, comp, like I'm creating a digital wearable line, and I want to use your angel. Like, would you be cool with that? And I had never had any renders like for my clones. So Rupsy was one of the first people to really kind of bring my clones to life, get them in 3D, get them in some new outfits, and just kind of make my clones look cool, because I myself not a 3D creator. So him reaching out was actually like, for me, was a big opportunity. Like, I was like, oh no shit, I can finally get a render of my clone. And not only that, he like asked if he could do it. So I didn't even have to like break the ice. He was like, yo, let me do some shit with your clone. And I don't know if he knows or not, but it was a big deal for me because I never had any renders or anything. And I wanted to start getting like my clone on the timeline or started doing stuff. And ever since, I think Rupsy's made me a few, like 4, 5, 6 crazy renders. And any chance I get, I put them on the timeline to show off like his work, show off the 3D clones, show off what we're doing in Artifact. So I just want to say I appreciate you, Rupsy. You've been a huge part of like Bad Take, of the clone community, of my personal life since we've become friends. So shout out to you, brother. I'm stoked for relics. I locked down my 3. Shaw's looking for her 3 that she wants to grab, and I'm excited to see where the line goes, man.
No, man, you're a stud, dude. You're an absolute legend, man. Look, Johnny will tell you when I was putting this project together, I told him, I was like, man, I got to reach out to people to get some clones. You know what I mean? Like, I got to find some clones to put this together. And he's like, bro, you got to do this right. Reach out to the right people. I was like, you think Comp and Dre would be down, or you think, I don't know if they'd be down, man. Like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of nervous. I think I'm just gonna shoot my shot anyway and see what they say. And then here we are. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, it's been an incredible ride, man. We're only getting started. This is literally the beginning. I feel such a great connection with like you guys. We talk so effortlessly. The communication is great. I don't feel nervous or uncomfortable at all. And the wild part is I've never actually met any of you, Johnny included. I've known Johnny for years. We've done a lot of business together. We've done a lot of shit together, and I've never shook the man's hand. His big old grizzly red hand. Never shook it. But we're gonna make it happen here very, very, very soon. It's gotta happen. So thank you again, Comp. Man, you guys, Bad Take. You guys are incredible. Dre, absolutely incredible. So I appreciate you guys.
Oh my god, red grizzly hand. Freaking dead. Dre.
I've met him in person, so he's actually on point with that. So he seems to know the man.
They don't call me the bear for no reason. No.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Dre, hi, my boy. How's it going?
Yo, what's good? I haven't really been speaking to anybody, so if I sound weird, blame it on that. But yeah, man, my man Johnny's hand is mad grizzly, for sure. I met him in person last year. I had the pleasure of meeting him for DesignerCon last year. We kicked it hella grizzly. But But nah, for sure. I'm still sorry that I didn't have the opportunity to connect with you when I was in hot scolding ass Phoenix a couple weeks ago, man. I really wanted to do it, but my wife had other plans, and Queen is the runner of the board, so I had to make sure I stuck around for family time and all that good stuff. But we'll make sure it'll happen this year for sure. There's some stuff coming up, CloneX LA stuff, Bad Take stuff coming up. I think you should plan on coming out here for that. That's in September, but we'll talk about that on Bad Take. But yeah, we, like you said, the energy does not lie, right? It's never been a effort for us to have a conversation, hold a conversation, vibe with each other, and just grow together just based off of speaking to each other. We don't have to meet each other in person for that, because it's an energetic field that just goes between one person to another. And you and I definitely have it. You've connected with so many points of your childhood that I connect with. My first custom was a report card too, right? Like, that was crazy. And the G.I. Joe breakdown with the rubber bands, I used to do the same thing, but the homies never used to move the same once I would open them up. Pause. Like, it'd be kind of, arms and legs be kind of loose after that. I guess if anybody gets opened up for the first time, they get loose. Pause. I had to throw that out there. That's a rapper bar.
Yo.
I had to throw that out there. That's rapper bar right there. But that's my artistic ability, right? With the words. I don't get down with the customization. I wouldn't have been able to create a killer garage for the homie Dexter like you did. Maybe if I really put some effort into it, but I flow like this. So this is why, as a community, we come together and we are so strong. Like, we went through this crazy transition of times of going through this darkness. And I feel like we are in such a beautiful season right now. All of us are vibing together. The people who stuck around are prime members of the community that I am so excited to be around. Being able to speak to the homie Rupsy and him knowing how to coordinate and all of that. Like, it's a beautiful time here, man. So I just definitely had to give you your flowers and say thank you for just including me in your journey. I'm honored to be a part of what you're building, because it's creating legacy for sure. And this is something we're going to look back on in a couple years and be like, yo, we were able to be a part of this and the inception of it all. And I wouldn't want any other people to be here next to me besides the people who are here right now. So shout out to you. Congratulations, bro. Happy you got your number. We out here. This is only the beginning, man. I'm hyped. Let's get to it. We got this, man. Congratulations again, bro.
Bro, Dre, you're amazing, man. Thank you so much, bro. It's nothing but energy, nothing but vibes, man. And all love for you, for the family. I completely understand coming out to, the devil's butt crack out here in Phoenix and just having to melt while you're sitting out here. Do that with the family. Don't do that with me. Spend time with the family. I don't know why you would name your daughter Phoenix and then she would want to have to come to Phoenix when it's hot as hell. But I get it. I understand it. No, we'll link up sometime very soon, man, and I hope to see all y'all very, very soon, man. I love y'all, man. Thank you.
Yo,
We might all have to do
devil's
the LA
butt
thing in
crack.
September.
Sorry, Johnny. I'm stuck on devil's butt crack. You go.
That's an accurate description. It's hot as hell. Yes, straight crack. Straight booty crack.
Oh, Johnny, go ahead, please.
I was just going
Change
to
the
say, we might have to make this LA thing in September. Do something.
There is no might, man. I gotta just count on it. Just start planning on it right now. So it's no might about it. It's just execution.
Beginning, middle, end. Anything to plan on?
That we are working out. Those details, I'm sure, will come out sooner than later.
We'll keep our ear to the ground. Appreciate you, Dre.
For sure. No, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. This is what this is about, bro.
We need the eye sideways eyes emoji, and we need fire emoji. Some of these need to go, like the thumbs down and maybe the crying one can go. Yeah, see, I see a lot of hundreds up here. Elle, hi, my queen. How you doing?
Hello. I'm so happy to get up and talk about Rupsy because honestly, I had some issues a couple weeks ago with a file I was working on in Blender, and literally within like 20 minutes, he jumped on the file, fixed it, set up a file for future poses so I can use the same file and send it back. And I know I'm from Bad Take, but I have to say it was so cool. Like, this whole community is so cool. Like, whenever you have any issue, there's so many people that will help you, and it's such a valuable asset to have this community here. But Rupsy, man, you're so humble. I love being on Bad Take when you're on there, just listening to you. You're so interesting. You're so talented, man. These shoes, I never saw your shoes. It's crazy. But yeah, minting the t-shirt as soon as gas goes down. I'm going to get 3 as well. I already know which ones, but I just wanted to jump on and say flowers, flowers. Thank you so much. And it's so awesome to have you here.
Elle, thank you so much. You are so kind. You always have the most level-headed like perspective and energy, and I love it. Um, and as far as the file, I'm happy to do that for you because I was able to learn something new. Like I didn't even know how to do that, so I'm really glad that I was able to help and actually do that. Because now I can do that moving forward. You can add certain poses and just have them ready and sitting into clone tools. So that's really, really cool. Yeah, no, I really appreciate all the support and the love and the energy that you bring. And yes, please wait for gas to go down. There's no rush. I'm going to leave the mint open until the end of the month. So do it on your own time. And this is, it's nothing crazy. This is just a way to support a creator. It's cheap. So if you feel inclined, you want to support, please do. If not, I completely understand. No hard feelings. I'm still going to create. We're still going to make amazing things together. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know you've booked a good creator when you've got a bunch of questions that are just sitting on your PC. 2 of them have been checked off, but 3/4 of the space has been used up by people just throwing flowers. Like, come on. Yeah, we smashed it this time. Good on you, Rupsy. You're doing well. I don't know how much time you got. Do you want to go for another 10, 20 minutes, or?
I've got all day long.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
If anybody has any other questions, please do come up. Because I do have questions, but they're quite boring. I go for the mundane ones so that you guys can come up with the spicy ones. What I'm curious about, whilst we wait for interesting people to come up, I want to know about the different materials that you work with on sneakers. Like, I know leather is, probably the easiest, but if it's textured, it's incredibly difficult. But then you got canvas and all those other things as well. Do you have any tips for people?
Yeah. So first of all, with leather, not all leather is the same, right? You have PU leather, which is like on your cheaper shoes. So like your normal Air Force One, fresh out of the box, your $110 Air Force One, that's typically a PU leather. With those, it doesn't mean you can't paint them, obviously, but you have to do a bit more prep work. So with all leather shoes, every leather shoe that you're going to get fresh out of the box has some sort of factory finish on it. You have to get rid of that before you can paint. So you take something like acetone and a cotton ball, um, and you just use it and you go over all the leather panels that you're gonna add paint to. With these PU leathers, sometimes you need to get out some sandpaper because as you walk, some of those creases are going to start naturally forming in that leather, and over time it can crack the paint if it's not adhered properly. The paint that I use is from Angelus. Angelus has been around for over 100 years, so they are the #1 sneaker paint in the world, and it has an additive that keeps it flexible, so it will bend, it won't crack, as long as you apply it correctly. You can add an additive to the Angelus paint. It's called Too Soft, and you add a 50-50 ratio, so 1 part paint, 1 part Too Soft, and that's what you would use to do canvas or any kind of fabric. And with that, you need to heat set it. Now, if you're going to look at like suedes and nubucks and stuff like that, you're probably going to get more into dye and stay away from paint, because the paint It's just it's too thick to keep that nubuck, like soft, alive feel. When you run your hand across a suede or a nubuck, it should move. And if you add paint to that, it's not going to move properly. Even with the too soft added to it, it still won't move properly. So if you use dye, you can have that nice movement in there. But there's different ways depending on what you're working on. And when it comes to like outsoles, the rubber outsoles, don't even think about painting them. Like if you want a red bottom on the shoe, buy a shoe with a red bottom. You're not gonna paint it. You can, but the second you step on concrete, the second you nick it on something, that paint's coming right off. There's no way to paint rubber, so it has to be injected into the mold. But other than that, it's pretty much open season on most shoes. You know what I mean? There's not all shoes are preferred in the custom world, but pretty much whatever you want to do, we can get it done.
Dre, you got your hand up.
If we're talking about shoes, I had to come in and throw mine out there as well. First, it's the Kobe 6 that had the braille on it. Just to clarify that up for anybody who was wondering, probably nobody, but just me, Johnny, and Rupsy. But for us three, it was the 6. So my question is, with us receiving the Artifact Air Force One soon, do you plan on customizing a pair of those? And if so, which pair and what do you plan on doing?
Bro, I'm going to customize these damn Air Forces. Absolutely 100% yes, customizing the Air Forces. The first pair that screams to me is the Humans. It's a perfect base. Because like Ferry said earlier, my whole thing as a customizer is, I like to take an amazing product, that's something that's already incredible, and elevate it. What can we do? What can we add to this to make it even more special and make it one of one? And so with the Humans, they have that amazing canvas material that would just soak up some amazing dyes. So you think about the gradients and the certain things that you can do with color, that could really pop on those Humans. And then for the other ones, it would be a matter of getting them in hand and seeing what the material really is that I'm looking at, because there's materials on there that we've probably never even seen, and these shoes are very elevated, so the textiles are going to be high quality, and when you work with a very high quality textile like Louis, stuff like that, you got to be careful with how you attack it. You can't just go slapping paint on it, and because when you make a mistake, it's not as easy as, oh, take a little acetone and wipe the paint up. No, that's like a LV monogram. You can't, if you acetone that, it's gone, and you're not going to be able to repaint that. So when Yobs did Zap's shoe or bag, he had to be very, very careful with how he prepped that. So yeah, with the other shoes, it's going to be a matter of kind of getting them in hand and seeing what I'm working with. But for the Humans, baby, I am dying the hell out of those. I'm going to make some colors. I want to see what we can do. So yes, sir. And also, Johnny had designed some amazing CIRL concepts. So if you think that I'm not going to be getting my hands on a pair of CIRLs and doing some work on those, yeah, that's definitely going to happen too.
Those undead CIRLs, man, that was stupid, filthy, nasty. Like, I'm waiting to see those in real life. Shout out to Johnny for that.
Right. It's so funny because I have probably a good 35 designs on the Artifact Air Force Ones and probably another like 25 on the Crypto Kick IRLs that no one's seen. I just haven't posted them. I just haven't gotten around to them yet. It's just, again, the possibilities for the silhouettes are pretty endless. You know what I mean? You just give me a silhouette or give one of us a silhouette, right? We'll just kill it on it. So, yeah.
What's going on, Tevi?
I just had to come back on real quick and say, I didn't think, I figured I had enough shoes, okay? With season 1 stuff and the CIRLs. And now I'm sitting here like, damn it, I should have probably bought another couple of each one. Because now I could potentially get a custom here. But so anyway, thank you, but not thank you. Now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do, and yeah, I don't know, but damn it. Anyways.
Temmy's having a breakdown right now. Can you hear that internal struggle? It's like, I want it, but I can't. I want it.
He just glitched out. Like, he completely glitched.
I mean, it's messed up. Like, like I bought all the pairs that I got. I went shopping for myself and for family. And I was like, I've got one of each, most DNAs, not all of them, but most DNAs. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. I don't think I need a secondary, like a second one. And I was like, maybe grab another one. And I was like, nah, I'm good. But now I'm sitting here listening to Rupsy, and he's like, yeah, it's like, I'm definitely going to customize these. There's some really, really cool stuff I can do, and like, he's saying that like we didn't just go through his whole Instagram and see what he's done with like all these shoes now. So now I'm over here like thinking to myself, like, I really messed up, because I could have picked up at least another pair of Angels, at least another pair of the Demons, and and probably like a couple more Humans. Because I just bought a pair of Air Force One with canvas material, and it looks amazing, right? So now I'm thinking to myself, well, what if I had another pair of Human and I send that on to Rupsy for customizing? But guess what? Forge is closed, and I didn't get one. So, man, whatever. It's like,
no worries, bro. No worries. Artifact isn't gonna stop making shoes. I'll tell you that right now. I can't wait for Artifact's original silhouette, dude. That's gonna be I can't wait to skin that.
Yeah, I think what I do have. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk, Rupsy. We'll talk.
Tevy, I'm only gonna get better, and I'm only gonna have better ideas. It's not like I'm gonna get any worse. So if it comes later than sooner, you might get a better custom than you would, if we got it done now. So.
God, I love your brain, man. That was a nice way to twist that. Good job. I'm pinning something else to the top. These are one of my favorites. It's not loading. It is the Purple Rain. Can you explain a little bit about those ones? Okay, it's at the top now.
Absolutely. So so I was doing this kind of like this series on that silhouette of shoe. That's an Adidas Continental 80 or something like that. And it's a pretty good shoe to customize because there's like this big open panel in the middle. And so I was doing this concept of I wanted to get like a collection of them together and base them on musicians. And so I have like a Nirvana pair that I did that was based on Nirvana, because I just fucking love Nirvana. And I ended up painting the cover art. If you know what the cover art is from Nevermind, then you know that it was kind of weird to paint it, but I hid a certain detail that was on that cover art. I did not add that certain detail to my shoe, but I wanted to do this collection of like musicians on this silhouette. And so the second pair I had was like this purple pair, and I was like, what do I do with this purple pair of shoes? And I wanted to maybe do like a Hendrix pair, which I think I'm still gonna do, but I thought Prince. Let's do Purple Rain. So I found some cool images of Prince, and I slapped them on the side, meaning I painted them on the side. And then how am I gonna like tie this into Purple Rain, right? Like, how am I gonna make this feel like rain? And so I started playing with liquid rubber, and it's basically the stuff that you would use to like dip your tool handles in or something like that. It's like this rubberized liquid that kind of it adheres to kind of whatever it's applied onto. And I started playing with it on scraps of leather and seeing how what I could get away with. And before I knew it, I was putting these little droplets all over the shoe. And in order to do it, you have to set the shoe at a certain angle to where it won't run while it dries, and it takes hours to dry. So it's not just a matter of taking a shoe and putting all these little dots all over it. It's I got to take a shoe and figure out how to set it at this angle to where it's stable for a couple hours, put a couple of little drops in this one spot and come back to it tomorrow, and then just slightly move the angle a little bit, put a couple of drops in that spot, and then come back to it. So it was this whole process that took, a couple of weeks to just put the little drops on it. But yeah, it's just the way my brain works, man. It's hard to explain. I just want to create something different that somebody hasn't really done yet, and find ways to incorporate it into cool concepts. I really, really like concepts, and I like to make them my own and see what I can do with them. So this pair is actually sitting right behind me, on my shelf. Yeah, I really, really, really love this pair. Thank you so much.
I love them so much, and the story behind it, like, you can have as many pictures as you want on Instagram, but you really, really need to hear the creator actually talk about the process to be able to appreciate it. Like, how much time that would have taken to do like each angle of the shoe. It's tiring to even think of, but I rate you so much. We also have Jack up on stage. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm just recovering from the fourth, if we're being honest. But I saw this space, and like, Rupsy, bro, like, I've seen your work since you dropped that red custom, that CloneX. That was just that vibe, dude. You've carried that vibe through, and you've done just what you said you're gonna do, which you've constantly improved, constantly gotten better. You're a constant inspiration, man. Like, just the whole thing. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your take on the digital collectible space, the art of it all, the original sneaker customizer status that you bring into this ecosystem of people that come from all over the board. But like, dude, your designs hit hard like a wrecking ball, bro. Harder than a wrecking ball. Harder than Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball. You put Rupsy on a wrecking ball, everything's wrecked, kind of thing, because that's how hard your designs go, bro. And that's just really what I had for you, sir.
Bro, you don't want to see me Miley Cyrus out on a wrecking ball, dude. Nobody needs that in their life. That's
that
not a
demon
good look.
energy we were talking about, bro. We can't let that happen.
No, Jack, man, bro, you've been a day one. You were literally like the first Twitter space I ever joined with Johnny. He's telling me, bro, you got to get into Clonespiracies, man. They got all these ideas about what's going on, and we're talking patents, and we're talking crypto dunks, and talking all this stuff. So you have been absolutely day one. You and Gemma have been nothing but kind and amazing to me, and super supportive. You guys are incredible. And the fact that you were out there cooking meat in the rain like a true American on our freaking Independence Day, not letting a little bit of weather stop us from getting that dead meat in our bodies, dude. You're an incredible American, and you're an incredible human. Thank you so much for all your support, buddy.
This dude just turns he just starts complimenting back. Rupsy, it's about you, bro. Just know that it's all about you. I care. I appreciate. Keep going. I will be fully supporting Relics to the best of my ability, which will be max minting whatever I'm allowed to. So keep it up. Keep improving. Keep inspiring, sir. Yeah, like, you are what makes this space great because of your unique one-of-one creator skill set.
Thank you so much, bro. I'm not going to throw you any more compliments ever again. So you have lost that privilege, sir. And I appreciate all the kind words that you've given me. So thank
Rupsy,
you.
I'm just going to play your compliments back on the recording, bro. It's all good. We got it on lock, sir. Many more to come, both ways. We know it. Keep going.
You guys are so cute. Is there anybody else that wants to say anything, Elle?
Hi, I have a question for the mint. Is there a way to just mint all 7 at the same time, or do you need to do one at a time?
Yeah, so unfortunately, because the way Mintplex set up their contracts, if I was to like manually go in there and try to figure out how to write a contract, I'm sure I could have figured that out. but I probably would have done more harm than good. So unfortunately, it's one at a time. But if you wanted to mint multiple of the same one, you could do that in one transaction. But yeah, if you're trying to do 3 different ones, unfortunately, it is 3 separate transactions. So moving forward, this is my first one, and I'm learning as I go. So moving forward, we'll have everything hashed out, and I'll probably get somebody to freaking help me next time. So yeah, no, it's one at a time right now.
Thank you. Got it. I figured so, but I just want to make sure.
Okay, I think that might be it. I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. The vibes get put on blast when speakers come up, so thank you to Tevi, Dre, Comp, L, Yobs, and Jack. Sorry if I've left anybody out. Thank you, Cass, as always. Rupsy, it has been an absolute... Oh, I didn't say Johnny. Johnny? Oh my God. Rupsy, it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on here. Thank you for sticking around with us, even through the hard times, even when you weren't a clone. Again, congrats on acquiring your new online persona. I hope it brings you much, much happiness. We're so glad to have you, and congrats on your latest collection too. I can't wait to get my hands on some of those. And I think that's about it. I don't know what else I have. Do you want to leave us with some final words?
Yeah, make sure you eat your vegetables, drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated out here. It gets hot. Last thing you want to do, if you stop sweating, it's too late. It's over. That's called heat stroke, baby. It's coming, and that is no fun. No. I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. I'm humbled to be recognized like this and to be a part of this space. This is incredible. This is why the creators do what we do. To have a community of people like this, an ecosystem of nothing but support and love and energy. To have an incredible company like Artifact, just kind of doing amazing things, being innovative, highlighting creators, making sure that we don't go unseen and unnoticed is very, very, very important to us. It just takes a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of recognition to light that flame. And that really, really goes a long way. So thank you. Thank you all, everybody that tuned in, spent a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate you guys. And I promise we're going to keep creating some amazing stuff moving forward. So thank you guys.
Let's get it, baby. Keep that flame burning forever and always. Johnny, thank you so much for co-hosting with us. And if it wasn't for you, Rupsy wouldn't be here. So it just goes in full circle. So with that, I will leave you with some funky tune I found on some Artlist website. So anyway, see you all next week. Bye. You all have to say bye.
Bye.
Go pick up that
Bye.
relic, chick. Go get them relics.